Welcome everyone. My name is Miguel. I am the owner of Miami Flying Trapeze. Alright, so this is the second time I do this video because the first one was an hour and 10 minutes and nobody wants to sit through all that, although there is a bunch of information to go through. Now, what the thumbnail says is Chief County Inspector is a liar. And if you look over here, I'm just doing my screen record. If you look over here, I'm going to go through what I discussed with the county attorney because I have caught many of these chief inspectors lying, and I'll show the proof of that. I've got like 65 pieces of evidence of proof. You can see how thick that is. That's all proof of how they lie, and they're costing me money, and to me they're doing it on purpose, and nobody believes me. The only way that I can win my case is to put them on blast and put it on YouTube, and hopefully give enough incentives out there to get it shared. But I'm going to show you how Miami-Dade County is lying to you, as at least these chief inspectors. Now, I don't believe, so the mayor of Miami-Dade County, Daniela Levy Cava, ran on a small business platform. So I believe the county attorney when he told me that we are the customers as residents and small business owners here in Miami-Dade County. He was not aware of everything that was going on, but I'm going to show where certain chief inspectors have lied. And if you live in Miami-Dade County and you own a home, I'm going to show you a state statute that says that you can have a small business in out of your home with meeting criteria, and I'll show you that state statute. That's also state statute 559.955. Again, I'm going to try to go through this very quickly. You can always pause and read my notes and go through it that way, because that's just going to be the fastest and easiest way, so you can take the time that you want. And now, if you do like, subscribe to this channel, and comment below, I'm going to give away 10 classes. I'll do maybe for the next 3 weeks. I'll do 10 classes a week for the next 3 weeks, and I'll just randomly pick somebody the way people do on YouTube. I'll get some type of random generator. Also, I have an Airbnb, so if you're visiting Miami, I'll give it till the end of the year. But I will give one night free. I do ask that you stay at least 3 nights, but I will give one night for free to at least 10 different people. Whether you live here, that's also going to be randomly generated. And I'll do this, like I said, for the next maybe through July, but I'll pick 1 or 2 people per week kind of randomly. Anyway, let's get to why county inspectors are lying in Miami-Dade County and why you don't have to be afraid of them. So this is what I discussed with the county attorney. So regarding the trapeze and the Airbnb, now this is going to be broken up into multiple sections because this is regarding my flying trapeze business and my Airbnb business. So to give you perspective, here we go. I'm just going to read and then we'll go through it. So before I ever bought the house, so here's the house real quick. This is the house. This is the property appraiser's office. This is my home right here. You can see my flying trapeze right there. No neighbors, no neighbors. I have one neighbor that attaches with this fence line. Right here, this is a great neighbor, loves everything I do. This neighbor loves everything I do, and this neighbor loves everything that I do. They have never complained about what I'm doing. Alright, so let's just read through it because I go through all of that. So regarding the trapeze and Airbnb, before I ever bought the house and before I ever had a home-based business, I met with a woman, Cassandra Anderson, in the zoning downtown building on October 3rd, 2019. I bought the home in 2020. I think I go through that. I asked her if I could have a home-based business and put the trapeze up, and she told me that currently no, but that was going to change very soon. She sat down with me at her desk, and I showed her different houses that I was considering with at least 1 acre of land. She told me which ones would be better, stating some had better coverage by means of tall trees as to not disturb neighbors. She told me, and I quote, "If the neighbors don't complain, the county really doesn't get involved." I'm going to turn this fan off just in case, although it's going to get hot in here. All right, so the county does not get involved. This was in 2019. I bought my current home in 2020. Cassandra Anderson has since retired, but I'm sure she'll testify to this. Coincidentally, my cousin's wife, which I redacted her name for her privacy, so happened to be working in that same building, on that same floor, on that same day, and I believe a few desks down. She worked at the time for Miami-Dade County. I believe she still does, and she does because I checked by then, by the time I wrote these notes. She knows I was there to meet with Cassandra Anderson. I spoke with my cousin before meeting, we'll call her Marlene, before meeting and I spoke to her after my meeting. She knows what Cassandra Anderson and I discussed and my plans for my trapeze program. My neighbors would attest before my wife. My neighbors would attest before my test. Before my wife and I bought our home and before we signed paperwork, I went door to door to each of my neighbors and told them my intentions and what Cassandra Anderson told me. My neighbors gave me their blessing and they would swear to it. Fast forward a bit, and I was issued a courtesy warning notice. Here it is on September 1st, 2021, case number 2021, all that. For violating section 33-8A, see attachment addendum A. All the addendums, let me go to the addendum, it's right here. So if I go to A, here's the original courtesy notice. Bam. Again, you can pause, you can look at it and see what it says. Go back to this. I was unaware of the process and went by what Cassandra Anderson told me. This case appears to be closed, by the way, as of now. So when I look up here, you can read that as well. It says that it is closed. All right, so let's go back to this one. Oops, that's not where I'm at. Let's go back to here. After some research on September 16, and mind you, I was receiving citations before this date. This just happens to deal with my flying trapeze business, my home-based business, and my Airbnb, which is a home-based business. So after some research on September 16, 2021, I went to the building at 11805 Southwest 26th Street, and I applied for a certificate of use. I was denied that certificate of use directly by Jim Byers, Chief of Zoning. This is your chief inspector that I'm talking about. This guy right here, everybody's trying to tell me he doesn't have it out for me. Yeah, he does. I did, when I went in there and he just bold-faced denied me my certificate of use to operate the business, I told him that I hadn't found it yet, but that what Cassandra Anderson had told me. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to read it because it goes through all that. But this is the guy who is a tyrant and a bully and wants to tell people what they can and cannot do on their private property, and he just doesn't care about state code. So James Byers, or Jim Byers, scoffed at my request and said there was no way he would ever grant this request. He did say with a lot of arrogance, and that's a trigger for me. So I did call him names, and I saw his staff kind of like look back like, whoa. And I have the law on my side, whether I win or I don't win, because welcome to the way laws work, and if I can get it before a judge, and it'll be a big legal battle. If this is not resolved through the county attorney's office or even through the mayor's office, which hopefully the mayor will see this, because she did run on a small business campaign, and I do believe her, and I do believe she's doing a great job, and she's doing what she said she's done, but let's see how it affects me, because as of right now, the county's trying to shut me down. So I told him, Jim Byers, about my experience with Cassandra Anderson and that I would appeal that denial, and I requested a certificate of use for my Airbnb that I was told by staff to attach to the same application for the certificate of use for the trapeze. So if I go to B, and again, we'll pause through a lot of this stuff, you can see here when I went to it, when I went to turn this in, here's the date. I had filled it all out there, and then while I was waiting for Jim Byers, because they were waiting for the certificate of use, I asked about my Airbnb, and they were like, "Oh yeah, just put it to the same," because I had filled this out at home, and I took it in, and they were like, "Here, take a pen here, and put it all in the same certificate of use." So I did. So there's the Airbnb. Anyway, where was I now? So there's that. He denied that request for the Airbnb and did not state why. He was going to deny everything. But anyway, he has yet to state why he continues to deny my certificate of use for Airbnb, except that recently Andrea Darrow, this is a supervisor, has stated that no permits are issued to properties with unpaid violations as per Section A-C. And then Addendum C is just an email. So here's that. And here's everything. Here's Section 8CC 7D. You notice I highlight unpaid civil penalties, unpaid administrative codes, unpaid county, unpaid liens, unpaid all this stuff, right? So the whole thing is I go through all that and I quote it. Again, these were notes that I gave to the county attorney. So unpaid, 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 unpaid. Well, this is a lie and does not apply either way because I currently have no unpaid violations. See Addendum D, Addendum D1. Again, we got to go in through proving. So here's the case number. Here's the violation. And then D1 is going to go and show me because what I'd have to do is click on tickets up here, but again, these are screenshots. So D1 will show, which I think I have D1. Let's see, where is my D1? Are you coming up? D1's going to be on the other page, maybe here. D1, here's D1. So you can see here, and I'll zoom it in. 0.0000000000000. Yeah, I got no unpaid violations, and this was taken after my meeting. I went back in there and took a screenshot on May 21st, 2022, just to prove that even after my meeting, it's still not showing that I have any violations. And I guess this is a chronological order of things that are going on. Here's my violation: use construction work on the second floor. Again, this is for something else. Because they have closed since then, since my meeting. They closed the Flying Trapeze business, operating a business without a permit, which I still want the permit because I still have to get a permit, and I'm willing to pay for that. But they're saying they closed that case. And anyway, let's go back, and you're going to see a lot of this stuff. It goes through this type of order. I also have here see addendum FFFF1. So yeah, let's go to that FFFF1. So that's going to be towards the bottom here because it's FF. Here's the original, which I think is what I wanted to show. Here's the original citation, which you can see here. Date posted July 28, 2021. That's when all of this started. This one seems to have been moved or closed as well. There's a lot of confusion about what's going on. So we'll go back to FF1. I want a chronological, but let me go to FF1, and then same thing here. This is the case number that you see there, which I was told was closed. There's the case number, so let's see if that is the case number. And the case number shows here 0912. And if you look up here, 0912. So this is not closed. I think it was transferred. But there's that. And then if I go to FF2, you're going to see with that case, again, a bunch of zeros. 0.0000000. I don't owe any money. So it's unpaid violations. So that did not apply because and the reason that came out is because I was asking for my certificate of use, and even recently, my certificate of use for my Airbnb, so I can post on Airbnb. I asked for that in April, which is why I set up there recently, up here, Andrea Darrow, because this was in April. And this will go through again, all that stuff. So I've been given extensions, the attachment K, K1, K2. These are all my extensions. I'll just go through them quickly. I'm trying to make a short video on it, but this is a very long, and so here's, like, for instance, one, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see this is an extension 150. I've pulled 4 extensions at this point, and that's what all that is. And even and then I was given an offer by Edinburgh assistant director, building official, to help submit my permits when my architect finishes the drafts. Because the whole thing is, remember, I'm talking about, there's going to be another video about my treehouse, but I'm talking about my Flying Trapeze business and my Airbnb. This is a home-based business. But anyways, the whole thing is, they say that I have unpaid violations on a treehouse that I'm building. I needed an architect, which is also a lie. I don't need an architect by state code, but we'll go through that in another video. So it is also a lie because Tesla was issued a permit to build my solar tile roof 4 months after the courtesy warning. So you saw July 28 was the original courtesy warning. In November 8th, permit number here was issued. The county collected a fee of this to process the request. It was granted. So them not giving me my certificate of use for my Airbnb is them not wanting me to make money because they don't feel like it. Because they are giving me permits for the roof, and recently, so I don't know if you guys ever been to Costco and you see those 10 by 20, those little tents that you put up, the little temporary carport. Yeah, I had a pull permit for that, and I did. So last month, I pulled a permit for that. Not a problem. I was issued it. It was given to me. Pulled a permit. It was like a $28 permit. I'm like, whatever. I have no issues pulling permits now that I know the process, but you have to, the amount of education you have to have is insane to know what you have to pull a permit for and what you don't. I actually had to pull a permit for a 10 by 20 tent that you buy at Costco, which is what I did. All right, fine, I pulled the permit. I don't mind pulling permits if I know what the deal is, if this process is made easy. The thing is, these county inspectors, they do whatever they want. And I know for anybody who's ever dealt with him, I know you've seen this before. It's if they're having a good day, all right, they grant things. If they're not having a good day, or you rub them the wrong way, they're not granting anything. They have too much unchecked power, and that's what this is all about. And I'm going to show their lies. So there's the process. So they told me that I can't get my certificate of use because I have unpaid violations. Lie. They tell me I can't. They won't issue any more permits until my unpaid violations are paid. Not only do I not have unpaid, like I said, that's a lie because they did give me permits, but they won't give me permits on something that I can make money on. So on December 7, 2021, James Byers stated in email, the trapeze cannot be used as any component of a home occupation use. You cannot use the trapeze for lessons, private training, or even an organized team practice. Notice he didn't say anything about taking the trapeze down because we've already had this discussion. And I'm going to show this addendum G real quick. So if I go back up, G, here's the email. Just, again, you can always pause that and read it. These are just emails that I've had back and forth with this particular person, this chief inspector. Now, to give context, and I'll go back to why he didn't say I have to take the trapeze down. When I went into the office on September 16, 2021, and I was denied my certificate of use to operate my business, Jim Byers stated the trapeze is a permanent structure and would need a building permit. I tried to explain that it is not. I can bring the whole thing down in less than an hour. It is essentially a swing set with a trampoline incorporated. Neither one of those require a permit. He didn't like that very much, hence the scoff that I mentioned before. See attachment addendum H. So let's go to H, and you can see here, which this is not the main one I'm going to use. This is one that I took a long time ago to understand what I can do, and here it is. I'm going to zoom into this, and it says these are the things a building permit is not required. However, other regulating agencies may require a permit or approval, which is fine, but no building. And I'm going to show you another one that's a little bit more official. This is just screenshots I took from my phone. So playground equipment, swings. Well, that's what a flying trapeze is. It's a giant swing. Slides, monkey bars, basketball hoops, and above ground trampoline. Well, that's exactly what the net is. You bounce on it. It's a above ground large trampoline. All right, and it's for residential use. Perfect. I'll take it. Residential use, that's all I need. So here's one proof there, but let me also go to the next proof, which is this one. GG here, and if you look, these are under section of the Florida statute. The following building structures are exempt from compliance with the Florida Building Code. So building structures on private property preempted by state statute. Let's go down, and it says here, the following construction improvements are not regulated under the Florida Building Code, therefore a building permit is not required. However, other regulating agencies may require a permit or approval. Fine. But he said I needed a building permit. No, I don't. Playground equipment. Here it is. Swing, slides, monkey bars, basketball hoops, and above ground trampolines for residential use. And then it goes into zoning setbacks, and that's all different. But he said I needed a building permit. No, I don't. This is what it is. It's not it's a temporary structure. It's not a permanent structure. It's Jason. What's the size? If you want to put in code what the size requirements are, fine, but they don't. So if you want to get mad at me for playing in the gray area, fine, but it's still not code, it's still not law. So there's that, and there's the whole GG. After many discussions, including 2 different Microsoft Teams meetings, James Byers, after repeated requests, finally sent me via email on April 22nd, 2020, a certificate of use application for my Airbnb. And here's addendum I. We'll go to that just so you can pause and look in case you don't believe me. Here's the email. By the way, here's his information. Feel free to call him. I really don't care. So you can read all this, blah, blah, blah. He sends me a certificate of use because I had been asking repeatedly for it. So here we are in April 22nd. Attached J, let's see. Yep, here. So I submitted that application in person to this guy. He was very nice. He's like, yeah, this shouldn't be a problem. This should pass. But then on 4/27, but then while I was waiting, I was told I would be contacted. There were multiple holds on my property, and the permit could not be granted. So now I'm first time I hear of holds. So addendum J, on addendum J, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the holds. So we go to addendum J. This is all they gave me. I don't know what it means, except that. Here's the inspectors. This is the original guy, and then this is the one that has to do with the trapeze. Deshaun Williams, you'll hear her name more. You don't see anything about the July 28 one. You see August 7. You see September 3rd. September 1st. But release when issued, yes, it says, and then violation fee. See, it says I have a violation fee, but I can't, when I look for it, I don't find a violation fee. It just says yes. It doesn't tell me what the fee is. I mean, these guys are playing serious games with the public. And again, the only way that we can make a difference is to put them on blast. So I'm going to show everything that there is, and I'm going to put them on blast, and they're clearly lying. This is why you don't have to be afraid of your inspector now that we have YouTube and we have a public forum where people can get together and put public pressure on politicians and show the lies that these inspectors just boldly tell. So anyway, so there's addendum. So addendum J shows the many holds I have included the trapeze via Deshaun Williams using. Addendum J shows the many holds I have including the trapeze via Deshaun Williams user ID, blah, blah, blah. On April 28, 2022, Anderdera wrote, all building violations must be resolved with every discipline before holds can be released. See attached addendum C. So let's go to C, which goes back to this. This was her email to me. You can see her information here and who she is, compliance supervisor. She's being told to say these things. Everything goes down to Jim Byers. He is the chief. Same thing with Deshaun Williams. She is being given her culture and her cues and how she understands how one is to be an inspector based on the chief inspector, which is this guy Jim Byers. He's the cancer in that department. He's like I said, he's a tyrant. He's the one who's setting the tone of how all inspectors are going to behave. Some do go against him and are kind. And anyway, in my next video when I talk about my treehouse, I'll show you how an inspector walked all over it, told me I did this incredible job, but it's not up to him. He was only there to do his job sent by chief inspectors. He was a field inspector. But anyway, so all building violations must be resolved with every discipline, blah, 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 all that, right? What violations? I was approved and paid for extensions as I worked to understand and resolve these issues. And then I went again into my proof of the extensions. I paid for that, and they granted it. You don't just ask for it and pay for it. No, it has to be granted. This goes back to what I stated earlier about Section 8CC-7D. I have no unpaid violations. See attached addendum D, which shows that again, and a permit has been issued for my roof well after these violations began, plus my carport. So currently there is no open case that I can find regarding the trapeze. Although they do mention, so if I do go back to that email right here, she does mention here, in response to your question regarding applying for a short-term vacation rental, all building violations must be resolved with every discipline before the holds can be released. This includes the 2 posts that supports the trapeze. Where that came from, I have no clue. The 2 posts, there's nothing in writing about 2 posts. There's no violations on the trapeze that are currently open. They did close it. They are all over the place, and essentially they want to show that they hold the power, and they're not going to let me make money. And I can already show I've lost, because I lost the season. I have this incredible property. Here it is, surrounded by lakes. I have all this nature. There's a forest in here. Here's a Google Earth one of before I ever put anything up. This is what it looked like when I bought the place. And the trapeze goes here. So I got this incredible nature-filled property that they don't want me to make money on, all because they want to show me who's powerful. They're tyrants. This is my property. The only people I care about what happens, who gets a say on what I do on my property are my neighbors, because it affects them. Which is why I'm extremely kind to my neighbors. I can disagree with them. I don't necessarily, I don't like the color of their homes. It's not my place to say. I don't live in HOA on purpose. I live in unincorporated Miami-Dade County on purpose. I don't want to live with more government, and we specifically bought here so we can enjoy our home on our terms, my wife and I. We don't have kids. And now the county wants to tell me how I'm supposed to live and enjoy my property. Yeah, that's not gonna fly. So that, again, the only way we get this out there is you're gonna have to share it. but you need to know what's going on and how you can protect yourself against these county inspectors. So I was told by code enforcement, let's go back here, currently open cases. I was informed of the closure of case number, I was not informed, I'm sorry, of the closure of this case, addendum A. So this case was closed, that's already open. This one, which was given on September 1st. This is the whole no structured land, or this is operating a business, C33-8A. This is actually closed. And I had wrote up here, case closed. They never told me they closed that case, except that now she's bringing up 2 posts. I don't get it. So anyway, here's where things get really good. I was told by code enforcement officer Deshaun William, who was at my house. My neighbor told me she was at my house. I didn't see it, but I didn't see her, and I happened to meet up with her down the street. She sat in her car, and I sat in mine, in my truck, as I was on the way to the dump. So basically, she was off to the side of the road on an easement. Well, I was able to pull up next to her. It's a big easement, and we talked there for 5 minutes. And so she told me in person I would receive a citation on February 23rd, 2022 for operating a business without a certificate of use, but I have yet to receive that citation. I suspect because in one of my meetings I quoted Florida State Statute 559.955. Now pay attention to this section of this video, because Florida State Statute 559.955, if you have a home-based business, will save your business. And I'm going to go into it so that you can pause it and read it and find it. If you have a home-based business, you want to know about this statute. So let's go into that. Addendum L and L1. I'm just going to go to L1. They're identical. If like here, this is just a screenshot that I took when I first found it, which is right here. But this is a better view of it. This is how you're going to see it. And I'm going to zoom it in. And you can see up here, 559.955, home-based business. This is a state statute of 2021. This is another thing. This was passed in June or July of 2021, ratified. And the county chief inspector, Jim Byers, knew about this. Never told me about it. And still issued me citations about a home-based business. And said, no, you can't operate a home-based business. This is where he does not care to honor state code. So it says here, home-based business, local government restrictions. Now I'm going to scroll down. You guys can read through it. This does 100% apply to me. My attorney's already taken a look. He goes, this is a slam dunk case. This is easy. This totally applies to you. You can just look it up, but if you want to pause and read through all this, by all means do. So there's that. Let me go back. So again, this is where I show that these inspectors are out of control, specifically the chief zoning inspector, Jim Byers. I have not received any new citations regarding the operation of my home-based business, trapeze, or any citations for the structure of the swing set trampolines, the trapeze. So then I go here into regarding the tiki hut. So that's basically where this video is going to end, because I'm only doing a video on the flying trapeze in my Airbnb. So I showed that they're liars, they're despots, they're tyrants. They want to be, this chief inspector wants to be daddy. He wants to be daddy really badly. And yeah, I'm not going to live in a nanny state. I may vote Democrat, but I am very, very thankful for the Republicans in this state who passed this law, because at the end of the day, this is a Republican-heavy state. And this was passed and ratified by, whether I agree with everything that they say or don't say, I will give credit where credit is due, and right now the Republicans in this case do deserve credit. Now I want to see if the mayor of Miami-Dade County, Daniela Levine Cava, is going to honor her platform promise of helping small businesses. Now every Wednesday her office does give some type of marketing advice or something that you can go in if you have a small business, and they're going to help you promote your small business. Well, here's a state statute that says I can have a small business. So some people in the county seem to feel like Miami has a home rule protection, and in some cases that is the case, but this does not apply to that case, because then what? Miami can just do whatever they want at all times, because they can call out home rule laws. Home rule laws are there for very specific, and the state recognizes these, and it's written in code, and I can show you code about that, but I'd have to find it. But there are codes. You can always look it up. You can Google it. You know, State of Florida Home Rule Miami-Dade County, and you can see what things do apply. And they're very specific, and it has a lot to do with taxes, and then it also has a lot to do with. I think it has a lot to do with the waterways, and a lot of these things make sense. But when it comes to building codes and things like this, the state statute for small businesses where it's limiting counties, that Miami-Dade County cannot just choose to ignore. So my state rep is right here. Let's see. Let me go back to my video over here so I can kind of see what I'm showing you guys. So this is these are my state reps. So this one right here, she is aware of what's going on. She wants to know more. So I am sending all that information to her. She was part of the process. She is a state rep. She was there either whether, I don't know if she voted for or against, but it seems she voted for this state code for small businesses. At times like these, when we're in a recession, why would you stop people from operating their small businesses? Now, if my neighbors were complaining, and it can't just be anybody who, because they say that I have a neighborly complaint. No, I don't, because I've talked to all my neighbors. Now, it can't just be some random person that doesn't live in this, doesn't live next door to me. It just doesn't affect them, and they just come around and they're like, oh, I'm gonna mess with that guy. He's not supposed to have that. I know the code. I know the laws. I'm just gonna go to make a complaint. No, it has to be a neighbor, and it has to be a direct neighbor. That's the reason why I bought an acre. That's why I have it out by the lakeside, the flying trapeze. There's a reason why I do the things that I do, because I never want to be inconsiderate to my neighbors. I only want to help. I have fixed their tools. I have let them borrow tools. I have helped them wherever they need. They need advice. I'm here because I study the law a lot. I'm not an attorney, obviously. I don't want to be an attorney, but I do study code, and I study the law because there are things that I want to do in my life that I need to know these things. For which I need to know these things. Now, this is all recently as far as what I study, because I'm in a heap of trouble. I don't think I necessarily will win unless you guys get out there and help me out. You just got to share, comment on this. So again, what I'm going to do is for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to pick randomly 10 people to give them free flying trapeze classes. You have to the end of the year to use it. And then if you, that's mostly going to apply for those who live here in Miami-Dade County or Fort Lauderdale, Broward, even Monroe. Now, if you are visiting and you're seeing this video out in Michigan or somewhere and you want to come down to South Florida, I will give you one free night in my Airbnb. I do ask for at least 3-night stay for that, but it's $150 discount, plus I'll probably waive the cleaning fee. Like, I'll make it worth your while to just like, subscribe, share. And then I'm going to do more. I need to do more to film our classes. We have classes every day at 6. And I want to do more to do that. I don't always have time to edit, but at the very least, if I just put a video out there and just do clips, I think that'll be fun and entertaining, so you can see what the flying trapeze is all about and be involved. I've built this glorious tree house. I'll be showing that in the next video. But I'll show more about what I do here and all that stuff. So I'm going to end it there because it's already very long. If you made it this far, thank you. Again, please do like, subscribe, comment below, whatever you want. I'll do some random thing. Like I said, I'm going to do it once a week for the next 3 weeks. And you get a free flying trapeze class out of it. Thank you.